So in the stream, I was fumbling on my words. So in this stream, I have this PC that I want to dismantle because I am changing things up. Essentially, the PC works as is, but I want to put in a different video card inside it. I have currently an RTX 3080 inside here, and my intention is to put in a new video card. So I have an Intel Arc A770, and it's got 16 gigs of RAM. And the reason why I want to put that in is because it does have hardware AV1 encoding. And the hope is that my video editing process will be faster and more efficient by putting that video card in. And in situations like this, where I do want to stream some of the processes I have, it'll be hopefully helpful for that as well. The reason why I went with that video card is because it does have the AV1 encoding on it. And I think the YouTube system likes that encoder. And so I'll try to go with that. And if my audio sounds funny, just let me know. Maybe I can fiddle with the settings, but let's just get started on this. So, and if you have any questions with what I'm doing, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer it best I can. I do have the chat up, so yeah, let's get started on this. So it's been a while. I've been holding off on this, but no better time than now. So I'm going to be removing the front panel and the side panel. And I will be taking it apart completely, so you will have to bear with me while I undo fans and whatnot. But it should be quick, maybe less than an hour. That's the hope. But we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to start off by taking off the front fans. And what's actually interesting about when I made this PC case in particular, one of these RGB fans actually died. I think I must have stressed out the wires too much, and it ended up ripping one of the cables out of the fan. But luckily, some dude with I think he only had 10 subscribers or something, and he had an online tutorial on how to dismantle the fan, and I was able to get to it and was able to repair the fans, which is really cool. You might see me sweating here because I'm in my garage. I think it's 90 degrees outside right now, and my garage is insulated, but there's no active cooling or heating in here. So the sun will be setting soon, and part of my garage does get the sunset on it, so it's gonna get a little hot in here. So excuse my sweatiness. And again, if the audio sounds funky, just please let me know so that I can hopefully try to correct it. Just gonna move these fans out of the way. I try to situate the case so that you can see what I'm doing. Actually, did I already fail on that? I don't know. Anyway, so right now I'm gonna loosen up the power supply and get that out of there so I can have better access to the rest of the parts inside. It's pretty neat. I got a message from someone and they showed me a photo of them actually printing out and building this case. And I printed mine out in this, they call it midnight blue. And they printed it out in this black PETG. And I will say I probably should have gone with the black instead of the blue because the black looked really good. I'll try to do a post on their photo because it looked pretty cool. Just going to remove this now if I can see it. So this is just the fan and RGB controller. Put that aside so I can hopefully snake all these fans out of the way. Maybe I should just get rid of the power supply fans first. Or sorry, the power supply cables. It's a little tight in here. Wow, can I even get to this? Okay, got to that. Just doing this by feel right now. Can't really see anything inside here. Okay, I think those are all the cables for the power supply. Get that out of there. Let's put everything back here. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. So. And now we got the power supply out of the way, and hopefully I can get access to the fan cables that I just pulled out. So these are the GPU power connectors. And let's get rid of this 24 pin in here as well. Little short guy. And get rid of these motherboard, or I guess CPU power connectors, the 12 volt. These are custom length as well too. And we're slowly gutting it. Slowly. And if you've ever taken apart a water cooling loop, I'm sure you can understand how tedious and long this might be. Now, my hope is that when I do take it apart, I don't spill too much water all over my computer. I'm not so worried. The PC's been off for quite a while now, and so hopefully there's not as much power in the capacitors anymore. And getting a little water shouldn't be that bad on there. And the coolant I'm using is just distilled water and some, I think it's like an anti-growth formula, biocide, I guess. And if that does spill all over the PC, I'm not so concerned because there really shouldn't be too much damage that'll happen, especially since the PC's off. But we've got power off, and I probably should remove my RAM. So let's go ahead and try doing that before removing anything else. Guess I'll get this temporary power switch out of there. Let's see. Do I have any plans for future 3D printed cases? Yeah, there's tons. And it's going to be fun. All the deadly caps are inside, the power supply, the small ones on the MOBO and GPU are mostly for filtering and don't hold any power after. Yeah, good point. Thanks so much, Christoph. That's really helpful. And yeah, in terms of the 3D printed cases, though, I mean, I'll reveal it. So basically, we've got three options. There's micro ATX. I have this like cooling idea that I've been meaning to try out for like, God, I want to say like over a decade now, but it's very similar to the tower cooler that I had mixed in with some water. So keep an eye out for that one. That one should be fun. And the third one, I believe, is like a really ultra small PC. And that's going to be utilizing an RTX A2000. So yeah, right now though, I think it's going to be the micro ATX case that's coming up next. So if you have any suggestions for what this case needs to have, definitely hit me up or comment here, and I'll try to get in what I can. But right now it's going to be micro ATX. But one thing I do have an issue with micro ATX is that Unlike ITX or most ATX motherboards, there's so many like variations in the size, and we've got, let's see, Tai Zuni says hello. Hey, Tai Zuni. And so I know that there's a standard for micro ATX, and it's really not that much smaller than ATX actually. So I'm debating if I want to design for the micro ATX board that I do have, which is much smaller than what I've seen online, because mine is it's not as wide, not as long, but I mean it's still micro ATX. So let's see, maybe it'll work for what I want. I don't have an actual micro ATX or motherboard that's as big as the ones I've seen online. So I don't know. We'll see, but I think it's going to be micro ATX. But let's continue on with this thing here. So I do want to grab as many components out of here as I can, so that in case I do spill some water on it, I can reduce the chance of issues. So let me get these RAM slots unclipped, and they should just pull out. Pull out. Okay, cool. We got one. And just for your information, the PC actually has 64 gigabytes of RAM. It's probably the most RAM I've ever had in any PC I've owned. And really, it's really just for video editing. I don't really game on this PC, even though it does have an RTX 3080 in it, which is actually the fastest video card I have in my possession. And so my main PC where I do game is an RTX 2080 Ti, which is definitely slower than what's in here. But I was using this for video editing. It was just faster. And let's see, we got Christoph says, remove the clock battery if you're worried about water. Then if the component's wet, you can just let them air dry. Yeah, it's a good point. Good point. Let me see. Can I even get to the battery here? It might be behind somewhere. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I bet you it's underneath the video card somewhere. Yeah, it probably is. Oh, well. I mean, it won't be the first time I've spilt water all over a PC. And I've even gone as far as dunking the entire PC in like IPA, and just to help kind of remove some of the water and then let that air dry. So yeah, to your point, Christoph, I mean, if I will likely probably, even if I don't see any water get on this, I'll probably still air dry it for like a day in front of a fan just to be sure. All right, so I don't think I can take anything else out without draining it, and I think that's all I can do. So I could possibly disconnect everything and then, or I mean, I could remove the water cooling parts and keep like the motherboard in there. That is an option, but I don't think I want to do that. I do have this, there's a particular fitting over here that actually goes through one of the 3D printed parts. So there's no way I can get that out without removing or breaking this part out. So I will try to drain it before I remove everything. So luckily this time around, normally I don't put any drain ports in my custom water cooling kits because most of my kits are just really small and I don't need them. So this one is kind of big-ish. And luckily the little pump I have here, the acrylic top that I put on it actually has a few ports on it. And so I'm going to be utilizing one of those ports for the draining, and hopefully it works. So let me go ahead and start that right now. And my plan is to elevate the case and then get a tray underneath it so that I can drain the water into that tray. So let me go ahead and get that started right now. And to elevate them, I've got these like super old MakerBot filaments I haven't opened, and I don't even know how old these things are. They're probably like, they got to be over 10 years old, I think. Yeah, they have to, but no, maybe close to 10 years old, because Yeah, I have no idea how long I've had these for. I suppose I could open it and just see if there's any like, this one's not even opened yet. Let's see. And it's so funny, I mean, I don't know how accurate it is, but it says that they're 1.8 millimeters. And normally when you see filament these days, it says 1.75. All right, let's see. So this was open before. This is ABS. I'm trying to find like a manufacturing date, but I don't see one. So let's just put it back and stop wasting time. This is just my my ADD kicking in. Instead of finishing the task at hand, I end up getting sidetracked by little things like this. So I do apologize for that. All right, so let's get this guy in. So I am going to be using these boxes to elevate the PC. And again, put a tray underneath so I can drain it. All right, I'm gonna just position that there. And let's see. So put that up here. And you know what? I'm gonna rotate it so that y'all can have a better view of what's happening. Okay. Man, how stable even is this? It doesn't feel very stable. Am I making a mistake? All right, so the drain port will be right here. And let me see if I can get, heck, do I even have space to put a screwdriver in there while I put the tray in? No idea. So I do have this tray here, and I'm hoping that it'll catch the water. I'm going to remove this plug here on the radiator so that there isn't any pressure in the system. And so now we've got essentially an open loop. So now we got air and the atmosphere can enter into this port here. And the hope is that when I do unplug this, it'll just drain right out. If I could even see what I'm doing. Let's see, righty tighty, lefty loosey, so it's that way. Okay. Oh, it's already draining. Yep, there it goes. The water looks pretty clear. Again, all I run is distilled water and some biocide in here. I guess I would probably, I do have like premix somewhere in the garage that I bought like years ago, and it's just clear. And I had intended on using that premix for a system that was going to use more, I guess not a temporary build like this, but I never actually even got around to it. Even my main system that's inside the Mandalorian Slager SM570 case is just distilled water and biocide. I can give this a few more shakes so I can get some more water out maybe. What I could also do is like, hold on, this might get a little loud, but I'm gonna give it a try. So I'm gonna grab my blower that I showed in one of my shorts recently, and let's see if we can like force air in here and maybe have the water come out. Hopefully it doesn't just like spray everywhere, but it might, but maybe it'll be fun. I'll be right back. All right, so luckily my little blower wasn't too far away, so you didn't have to sit there too long. All right, so this might get a little loud. So if you're wearing headphones, maybe take them out right now, because this might be it might be ear piercing. Actually, I'll test it right now, and let me know if someone in the comments could let me know how loud this is. Oh, it feels pretty good. All right. That feels pretty good. How loud was that? If someone could comment, because okay. If no one says anything, I'm gonna do it. I don't see anyone say anything. I'm assuming it's not that loud. Anyways, we'll give it a short try. So I'm just gonna stick it up here. water did come out. Look at it leaking. Little squirter here. All right, so Ed says it's fine. All right, great. Thanks, Ed. Look at that, little squirter. And maybe I'll give it like a few tilts and hopefully it'll, oh, there it goes. There's no way to get all the water out during this. So I'm gonna get some like leaking here and there no matter what. But my hope is just to get as much water out as I can right now. And yeah, or maybe this drain port wasn't the best designed or situated too. But it's doing well. Can't complain. All right. I think I'm pretty happy with that. Unless here, again, another warning. If you got headphones on, let's see. I just ordered my CPU today for my build. Ooh, what are you building, Ed? Is it a gaming PC or is it for something else? That's exciting though. Buying PC parts is the best. All right, so again, if you have headphones, brace yourself. Nice. So Ed's building a gaming PC. Right on. What CPU did you get, Ed? And while he's answering that, I'm actually going to turn this PC around because there's actually something pretty cool that you can see while I'm blowing it. All right, so, oh gosh, watch me like spill this water while I'm moving stuff around. All right, so check this out. Wait. Okay. Well, hold on, actually. Maybe I need to have it this way. Oh, almost fell there. Jeez. All right, so Ryzen. Oh, yeah. Oh, the 56 3D. That's going to be great. Yeah, my the current CPU in here is the 5950. But the CPU that was in here before was a 5800X3D, and that thing is sweet. So I'm coming from a 9900K that's water cooled, and it's a pretty good difference. So yeah, I think you're gonna love that thing. You know, it's really funny when Ryzen came out, I bought the 1700, and that thing lasted me for a long time. And it's also quite amazing how long the AM4 socket has lasted. And I think it's been awesome. Like I'm not brand loyal. Obviously I have a Intel in my main PC and I have like AMDs in most of these builds, but AMD is such a great brand, I think. So it's going to be great. And there's going to be an ad, so I'll pause everything while the ad's going. And I don't know how long the ad will be. And let's see how long that lasts for. How is that CPU? I wonder how long the ad is. For those with premium, I guess, I don't think you get ads. But if someone is watching that does have ads, can you let me know how long the ads are so that I can kind of time what's happening so that y'all don't miss out on anything? Because the ads are nice because obviously it helps pay for like the filament and some of the parts that that are used for this channel. But at the same time, I do understand the pain of having to watch an ad while you're just trying to enjoy content. So yeah, let me know how long that ad is, and then maybe I can like just like pause and not do anything while the ad's running. And I don't know how long it's been, but maybe the ad is done. I wish I knew how long it was. Either way, so Ed asks, how is that CPU? Ed, are you talking about the 5950 or the 5800X3D? You made the, yeah. So Ed, if you check out my channel, I think this is this is like the video from like 2 months ago, but this PC case is 3D printed. And so if it's something that you want to build yourself, like it's available in my video. There's a link to the printables website where you can download the files for free and just build it yourself. There's already been a few users who've built it. I was just saying before this stream started, somebody sent me photos of their build with this case in black, and it looked great. Yeah, thanks, Ed. You think it looks really cool? Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And Ed, I don't have the 56X 3D. I had the 58. And so, I mean, in terms of gaming, that thing was bad. I mean, I'm sorry, I was gonna say bad ass, but I don't know if I'm allowed to swear on these things. But anyways, so it is. It was a great CPU. It is a great CPU. Matter of fact, the little PC that I'm streaming from at this moment has the 5800X 3D in it right now. So it's, I guess, pretty cool for streaming. I mean, I actually don't know how good the streaming quality is right now, but it's there. That looks really cool. That got good air. Yeah. So the venting. I mean, I wanted a case that could breathe really easily because I knew that by situating the power supply where it was, there could be a lot of chances for like air to just kind of like pool and not really get anywhere. And so I really wanted as much venting as possible. I know that, there's people will say that, you want to actively force air when you can, and it's absolutely true. But adding vents and openings is actually just a really easy way to kind of circumvent any overheating. And give me a second here. I am like so hot, so I'm just gonna use this thing. Oh, actually, speaking of this thing, this is what I wanted to show y'all. So check this out. Hopefully it happens again, but when I blow into here, you see I thought it was pretty neat. You can actually see the water and the air moving around in the GPU block. So again, this is the RTX 3080 video card in here, and I have an Alpha Cool full coverage GPU block on there. And yeah, Ed Bailey. So technically, you could run air cooling in this case. I think the person who built on his own case using my files actually wasn't even using water cooling. So I think it's just proof that you could technically just get away with air cooling in this case. But moving on, I'm just going to close this up because I think I've drained out enough water to make me feel comfortable about dismantling the rest of it. And so I'm going to plug this guy up again. If I could even see. It's hard to see. You know what? No, I'm going to leave that out. And remind myself not to put my fingers in my mouth because there is biocide in this water. All right, so this is when things are going to get a little wet. We've got this guy out. And I'm going to start dismantling the PC. And I think we can't help but have it drip all over the place. It's just going to happen. And I don't think there's anything much I can do about it. But let me first plug up the pump, and hopefully you can see what I'm doing. All right, so, okay. So there's a pump here, and I've used one of the ports on it, yikes, to act as a drain plug. And honestly, that worked pretty well, so I can't complain. And it's hard to see, but I guess you can kind of see. There's a fair amount of water in here. So I feel pretty good about that. All right, but moving on. Start taking this thing apart. Hugo says hi. What's up, Hugo? And then Ed says, I got an Asus 3050 graphics card with my build. Nice, nice. I don't know much about that card, but I think for the most part, if you have a fairly new card in like the 3 or 4 series, they should all be pretty good for like 1080p gaming. Curious, Ed, like what games do you play? I don't even know where to begin on this. Do I just take out the GPU first? No, you know what? I'm going to kind of go in reverse order of how I built it. And I think the last thing that came in, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. You know, I've never played that. It looks interesting. I love those like kind of open world games. I need to get on it. And then, so right now I'm trying to take off this tube. I ran these tubes so short that there's really not much like play in any of this. Cool. So we removed a tube and water didn't spill out. So that's a good sign, I think. Let's get this one off as well. Sweet. All right. First tubes are out. I played all the Assassin's Creed games. I think, I'm trying to remember. I think I played like the original, and then I don't think I got a chance to play the rest. Yeah, I don't think I played the rest, but I just know that it reminded me of like Prince of Persia and like, what was the other one? Like, was it Ghost Recon or something like that? But I need to play more games. Right now, the only game I'm really playing is like Apex Legends. I totally suck at it, but I don't know why I keep playing it. And Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's the best. You know, I bought Cyberpunk on release. I finished it during that time, but I remember just like thinking to myself, I will never buy a game like that ever again. Or I guess a brand new hyped up game. And it's funny how long it took for them to kind of like fix things, but now it's officially like my favorite game, like hands down. How is that game? Are you talking about Apex or Cyberpunk, Ed? Ooh, whoa, boy. Water came out of that one for sure. And I don't know if you've ever watched the video, but I created this like tiny cover to go over the pump just to kind of give some aesthetic cohesion in the case. And it really didn't do anything. It was just like this plastic thing that it barely protected it, but I think it kind of brought everything together. If you can see it, I don't know how well you can see it in that camera. Not very well, but essentially it's a tiny little cover that has the same honeycomb pattern that the rest of the case has. And then to your question, Ed, Ed, if you haven't played Cyberpunk, honestly, I would give it a try. It's so good. Like I grew up playing a lot of like RPGs, but you know, it's just hard to find time to play RPGs nowadays. But I feel like when I was playing Cyberpunk, it was like I was back in like 7th grade playing RPGs, but at the same time, it was like it felt new. Yeah, definitely give it a go, especially with the expansion. It's been a lot of fun. Like it's kind of embarrassing of how many hours I've put into that game, but no regrets about it. It's such a great game. All right, we're almost free. Oh boy, I should probably get some paper towels. I'll be back in like 5 seconds. And I'm back. First paper towel goes to my head. because it is really hot now. And putting that underneath there. And I think I can get this radiator out now, but I'm just curious. I'm now debating if I should get it out because I'm not sure if I should. The radiator actually acts as a stress member for the case, like as if it's part of the case. But I think it should be fine to take it out. Let's take it out. No, I should be good. Okay, so let's take that out a little later. For now, I'll work on the CPU block. Let's get that thing out of there. First, I'll get this fitting off. It's funny, these fittings are like, they're supposed to come off, but they bit into the tube so hard that they're kind of just like part of the tube now. Wow, no water came out. Great. Okay, I was actually worried about just water spilling everywhere right now. We're good. So Ed says that Cyberpunk is on Game Pass. Game Pass is that one where you can like play any game in that library if you pay the subscription, right? If that's the case, man, if you got the space for it, I would definitely play it. And you know, I know you mentioned you have a 3050 video card, but I think there's even settings on there to play that game on the Steam Deck. So I think if the Steam Deck can play it, I think you'll have a lot of fun with the 3050. Actually, matter of fact, the RTX A2000 that I have is, I think, the same, if not slower, than your 3050. And I played some Cyberpunk on that thing, and I mean, for 1080p, like, you can have some fun, and especially if you're the type that can like hook up their PC to the TV. You can just like sit on the couch with a controller. It's so fun. I'm not going to give things away, but I'm normally like a mouse and keyboard player, but there are some things in Cyberpunk that allow you to not have to have that precise aim you would get with a mouse. And so I'm complete garbage with a controller, but with Cyberpunk though, if you can build a character where like you can have the worst aim possible and still have a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, if you already have the Game Pass and you can play it, definitely do it. It's so fun. Okay, I'm gonna take off this water block now since I have it disconnected from the water loop already, and I'm just gonna loosen it using like a crisscross pattern, and just to be cautious about how it comes off. My assumption is that it's probably not even going to come off on its own. And your monitor is 1080p. Yes, perfect then. You're going to have a blast. So just loosening this up. And again, my assumption is that it's going to be pretty stuck on there with the IHS and the thermal paste. So it's likely going to need me to like twist it off anyway. So I don't think it's going to fall off, but I'm just going to keep my hand there just in case it does decide to release. All right, one more screw. Okay, and I'm just going to give this. So if you ever have this right now, so I have all the screws off, but the CPU wire block's not coming out. And normally one good method to do is to, before if you know you're going to be taking off the CPU, and sorry, I'm reading the chat. So Ed you're asking what's the name of the AIO. So Ed, this is not an AIO. It's actually a fully custom loop. This CPU water block and pump combo I bought on its own. This radiator I bought on its own. Yeah, so none of this is really part of an AIO system, but this particular block though I mean, essentially you are building an AIO with it because it does have a pump built in on it. And it also has multiple ports so that you can drain and fill it like a normal water cooling loop, but you can make some pretty simple loops with this. If you check out my channel, I think one of my more popular videos is the AMD Project Quantum video. It's quite a long video, but I think it's like roughly halfway, but you'll see how I utilize the exact same pump and water block combo and to kind of make my own AIO. So even if you watch my other video, the ITX North video, again, I use the exact same water block, but I'm using a different radiator. But essentially, it's just like water block, tubes, and then radiator and nothing else. So in essence, yes, you can use it as an AIO. And the company is called Alpha Cool. And this one is called the Isobar LT or something, or Isobar LT RGB or something. I actually wanted, yeah, it'll be a good learning. I mean, I guess it'll be a good learning to understand like a water cooling loop, but I don't know how. It won't be so precise about learning about AIOs, but I think it'll still be helpful. Anyways, I'm gonna just give this a little twist, and then it's able to release. And I have an RGB cable here, I guess. I totally forgot about that. So let me go ahead and remove that. And man, I am sweating right now. I mean, you probably can see it. I don't know, but I need another paper towel. I should really get like AC in this garage. So if you see some of my videos and my hands are like dripping or like I'm like sweating, this is it. Just me in the garage sweating. Now you know my dedication to the nerdness. Okay, cool. So water block is now off. Okay, I'm gonna put this over here. And to your point, actually, Ed, you can buy a product from Alpha Cool that has that water block and pump combo, and it has and it'll come with like a normal radiator, but I think in their radiators they have like quick release connections so that you could use it as a normal AIO, but then you can also just expand it too. And I mean, I'm hesitating to recommend it because in essence, if you never take it apart, you might as well just buy a normal AIO. I know right now the one that I was looking at was the one from Thermalright. It's like a 360 mil, and the reason why I was looking at it is it's so cheap. Thermalright's been killing it lately. Well, I guess not lately again. I don't know if I guess I've seen my demographics in my YouTube studio, so I know that some of you are all pretty old, but way back when, Thermalright was like one of the best CPU cooler manufacturers out there. I remember, if anyone can remember, there was a model called the SLK 800. It was for AMD, and at that time, it was like this like humongous chunk of copper, and it was the best. Like I remember, normally it didn't even come with a fan. Like you had to put your own fan on there, but the neat part was it could take like 60 mil all the way to like 120. And at that time, that was a huge thing. And I remember having like so much fun, like overclocking my AMD systems with that particular cooler. So Ed, will it fit on the ATX motherboard? If you're talking about the AIO, it's really going to depend on the case you're going to be using. So when I designed this guy, it was ATX, but I wanted to keep it as small as possible. And but then by using a 360 millimeter radiator, it really kind of just limits how small you can go with it. And so it really depends on the case. So if you have a case that can fit a 360 millimeter radiator, you should be good. All right, so I guess time to tackle the GPU. Okay, so I remember there's an outlet here, and okay, so let me go ahead and loosen up this connection if I can. Lefty, so I want it to come out. And so, okay. You don't know the rules. So basically, for a normal screw, I think a right-hand thread, if you put your hand like this, anyways, where your fingers curl and in the direction of your thumb will determine like which way you should be turning the screw. So if I want the screw to go in, I would put my thumb like this, and then how my fingers are curled is how you determine like which direction you should put which direction you should turn the screw. Right? It's kind of out there, but I just thought I'd share. Oh my god, this thing is not coming out. I can't remember if I used a wrench for this. I may have. Hold on again. So, I'm tightening it. That's probably why it's not coming out. Okay, so now it's starting to undo. And I have a feeling water will come out of this one though, because this attaches to the radiator and then to the GPU. And I have a feeling that because there's like air in the GPU block, that there's still water in this tube right now. I wonder if I can give you all a better view of what I'm doing. So there's a tube right over here, and it goes behind the GPU. All right, so I need to hurry up with this dismantling because I am really hot now. You know, I should take a water break. If you're watching too, you should probably take a water break. So I was gonna have some water. Some good quality H2O. All right, so still trying to get this tube out. I feel it coming out. Okay, I think I'm there. I think I'm there. Guys, I just know that water's all gonna come out over here now. Well, I don't feel water yet, so that's a good sign. Why aren't you coming out? It's so weird. You know, it's probably just twisting on itself now. That's why it's not coming out. I could feel like a bead of sweat coming down my forehead right now. Okay. So the GPU should be free from the loop now. Oh, there is just water all over on the bottom now. And I did see that an ad came on, so if anyone could tell me how long those ads are, how long they run for, that'd be super helpful, so I can like determine when and how long I should stop for whenever those ads do come on. Okay, so the GPU is disconnected from the water cooling loop, so I could just now take off. So right now the GPU is held in place by this bracket right here. Oh, there's water here. There's a bracket here that the GPU attaches to with its PCI bracket. And then on the bottom, it's also locked in using the riser cable that I have for this case. So while I remove this, I'm gonna place my hand underneath the GPU so that it doesn't just fall out. It's kind of just hanging here right now. Okay, so now it's officially off the bracket. Whoops. And now I can, here, for the sake of the stream, I'll just risk this. I'll risk this. And so I have to, hold on, I'm just holding this while I twist the case around. And, all right, so then I'm just gonna unlock the PCI slot. Why can't I do it? Okay, oh, there was tension on it. That's why it wouldn't work. Okay, now it's released. And there it goes. And there is the GPU block out. So again, this is the 3080 T, no, not TI, just normal 3080 with an Alpha Cool water block on it. It might be hard to see, but you'll see like little white parts on here, and that's actually just thermal putty. I didn't use any thermal pads. I didn't have any, or actually maybe I did, but I just chose not to use them because I wanted to try out the thermal putty, and more or less I think it worked pretty well. So I may just go that route for the rest of my builds, because it's nice that you can kind of reuse them. You'll reuse the putty instead of the tape, because the tape will essentially just tear if you take them apart. All right, so we are almost done taking this whole thing apart, and I forgot who it was, but they were saying, Christoph was saying to remove the battery, which was underneath the GPU. It's actually right over here. It's already done, so I'm not even going to bother with the battery. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this riser cable that's also attached up here. And for those that watch this particular video, I think it was way too long. I had like maybe, I want to say like over 20 hours of footage I had to try to distill down for the video, and it was still kind of way too long. It was almost like an hour. So I do apologize for that. I'll try to get better about editing and also shooting, but there was a lot going on for that particular video. All right, so I think I can now take off the top radiator. Yeah, let's get this off. But I have been wondering though, I mean, so most of my videos, I try to have it so that it's like a tutorial on how to put the case together. But obviously that makes the video super long, and I am curious like how people would feel if I just made a video of just the case being showcased and then kind of just being super light on the tutorial side. Because I mean, I've looked at the numbers of downloads I have for my files, and they aren't that much. And so it leads me to believe that people are mainly just watching the videos for like either PC or 3D printing content. And so I do wonder, like, could I just have less of the actual in-depth build so that we can have shorter videos? Unless people like the long videos. For the most part, I do have very positive comments about my videos, so maybe I don't change it. But we are so close to being done here. I thought I could do it in less than an hour, but I was wrong. It's always different when you're filming and doing something. So I'm trying to like make sure that y'all can see what I'm doing. So right now I'm just unscrewing the radiator from the case. And I'm not going to be using this case after I dismantle it. I'm actually debating on using just a PC case that my friend gave me, because this will be for the video editing rig. And the plan is not to fiddle with that once I have everything installed, because you don't want to be fiddling with the production PC. I will be taking apart the my main PC though. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you go to my YouTube page, it actually there's a photo of it on there. It's the Mandalorian PC build, and it needs to be redone. And my plan is actually to put the 3080, the RTX 3080 along with the 5800X3D in a new PC. Let's see if I can get some water out of here, actually. There it goes. Little squirter. Okay, so radiator's out. GPU is out. CPU is taken out. So now all we have left is to take out this motherboard. Let's take out these bottom ones. And if you haven't seen the video, this the motherboard, it's not really advised, but it's actually part of the case in a sense that when it's all screwed in, the motherboard is placed over different parts of the case so that it actually helps keep the case together. And we've got a few more screws here, and we'll have the case fully dismantled. And I'm so used to just using or ITX for my small form factor builds, so I've actually kind of forgotten the ATX layout and where screws are, but I think I got them all. All right, so these last two screws should be the last ones. And you know, somebody asked in the video, like, how much smaller could I make this case if I didn't have the 360 millimeter radiator or the 240 mil? And it really doesn't get that much smaller because the majority of the size is actually limited by the motherboard. I guess it will get smaller, but if you take out the 240 mil, maybe like a few centimeters. But I mean, if you look at the size of a 360 millimeter radiator, like the height is really kind of what determines how tall this thing could be. And if you put it on top, I suppose you could make it shorter, but it'll still be just as long too. I may look into it again. Maybe if I get bored of a normal case where I plan to put these parts in, maybe I will just 3D print a new one. Actually, no, that likely will happen if you keep in touch with the channel. Lots of cases I want to design, and one of them is ATX, no water cooling, and yeah, essentially it's an ATX, no water cooling. So that kind of determines or is a good descriptor of what the case will be. And so that would mean that, excuse me, oh, it's hot. It would mean that, you know, this has to be wide enough to accommodate for an air cooler. Because right now I don't think it'll fit many coolers. Just a really quick look-see. Yeah, so right now it's a little less than 150 millimeters, so you couldn't fit in like one of the popular CPU coolers right now is the Thermalright. The Thermalright, I think Peerless Assassin, and there's also the Phantom something, and they would not fit in here even if the PSU was in the way. This is just too narrow. Like, I made this narrow enough just to accommodate for the power supply. It could be even more narrow if I had used an SFX power supply, but yeah, that's how it goes. And right now, so Hugo's asking why I'm dismantling it. So the main reason, Hugo, is that I am installing a Intel Arc A770 GPU into my video editing rig, and the RTX 3080 that was in here had to go. And it wasn't just a simple like remove the video card, put in the new video card, because obviously it was inside a custom water cooling loop. And I don't know if you missed any of that, but basically now it's all gone. And now I can actually put those parts into its kind of forever home. I keep forgetting how this one goes. I always have to just like put it in. And then if the magnet works, then I know it's good. Yeah, okay. First try. But essentially, yeah, that stream was just to get the video card out of there, and it's done now. And the case is now just a shell of itself in a way. It is still really cool looking at this though, because for one, I don't like these part lines you see. The printer I have right here and the other printer I have off camera they're pretty large print beds, and so I do have that luxury to print out cases kind of like in one shot without having all these part lines. But a lot of you have been asking about a PC case that could be printed with smaller printers, and this was the answer to that. And I hope that people liked it. I mean, personally, I'm not the biggest fan. I mean, really, just because, these part lines. I mean, like, I think the design for this case hides them really well. Like the honeycomb pattern can hide the part lines pretty well. But when you have like very large surfaces like this, there's just no way around having that part line visible. And sometimes you get lucky where I would argue pretty good tolerances for this case, so it's very hard to see the part line. But in some instances, like for instance, if you look on this top one here, like you can actually kind of like even shift it, I think, and it's just kind of the nature of the beast of part lines, I think, and that's why, as much as I like giving y'all your requests for like cases that have ability to be printed on smaller printers, it does make me a little sad sometimes when I see these part lines and I know that I didn't have to, but hope you're all happy with that. But that is the dismantling of the ATX case, and I appreciate everyone for stopping by and watching, and I also appreciate people typing in the comments and kind of doing this little Q&A in a way. And this won't be the last one. I will be dismantling my main PC. Whoops, the Mandalorian build, because in that PC, there's two 240 millimeter radiators that are in there that I want to utilize for another build, and so it needs to be taken apart. And I also just found out that I think the PCI riser cable that's in that particular PC is starting to die, and so it'll be good to take it apart. And it'll also be interesting to just to go over how long it's lasted for. I think I built the PC in like 2020, and I haven't taken it apart since. And even the water that's in there hasn't been changed. And so it'll be interesting for me to take apart the water block to see the condition of the water block after it's been kind of left unattended. I mean, I have been refilling it because water does get out eventually, but I'm assuming there's probably a lot of gunk in there. So it'll be interesting to see how nasty it is inside that water block. The GPU water block is clear, so I don't see anything wrong with that. But I think the GPU water block has like tighter fin spacing inside the cold plate itself, and so I'm sure it's probably caught like tons of crap that's been in the water. So we'll see how that goes. But either way, again, I appreciate y'all stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one. Keep your eyes peeled for the next case. It should be out pretty soon. So thanks, and I'll catch you all later. How do I even end this thing? Sorry, I have like a camera right in front of the monitor I'm looking at, but it covers some of the buttons. So, end stream. So again, take it easy, y'all. Bye.